This means our muscles can stretch further without tearing. As our muscles warm up, our nervous impulses are being sent out more. This means heat speeds up nervous transmission. For example, in netball, if your muscle pliability isn't good, then the passes you make are going to be stiff and the passes aren't going to go to where they need to be, which puts your teams at a disadvantage. However, if your muscle pliability is good and your synovial fluid is thin and elastic, this means the passes are going to go where they need to be and your team are going to be at a good advantage if your passes are powerful and going to the right places without causing injury to yourself. As I was saying, as we exercise, synovial fluid increases around our joints. This is because we are working harder, so we need our joints to move more, meaning we need more synovial fluid to be able to make the movements we need in the sport we're playing. Our joints become warmer and the synovial fluid becomes more elastic and thinner, making it easier for our joints to move, as I explained in the last slide. All of this is because exercise makes our joints move quickly, so there needs to be more synovial fluid in the joints to allow and assist movement. This also helps in gymnastics, where if you're flexing and you're dead flexible and stuff like that, but your joints are dead stiff, then you're going to cause very much injury to yourself. This is why synovial fluid increases the range of movement so that you're able to follow out the movement you need for your gymnastics or any sport. Muscle fibre and micro tears. Micro tears are what we feel and why we feel tired after exercise, especially if you've not been to the gym or not been in your sport for ages and you go back and the next day you're in a lot of pain. You need the correct food and rest to be able to recover from micro tears. Nothing else repairs it. You should recover stronger than before because of the work you've done, even though you suffer pain. During exercise, tiny tears appear in our muscle fibres. This is because during exercise, our muscles undergo stress. For example, when lifting weights, small tears in our muscles appear. This is called muscle fibre tears. The tears are then fixed during rest. They do this by adding protein to where the tear is and it creates muscle growth. This creates mild stiffness and you will suffer a little pain the next day, but surely it's worth it. Energy systems response. All three energy systems contribute at the start of exercise, but the contribution depends upon the individual, the effort applied, or the rate at which energy is used. For example, ATP is used more in about 0 to 4 seconds because it gives you that strong, powerful burst that you need to fulfill yourself to complete the sport. Your ATP to PC, that goes to about 10 seconds. That gives you a power for about 10 seconds. It's ideal for a sprint. Your lactic acid and anaerobic glycolysis, that goes up to about a minute. That gives you the power that you need for a minute, which will be good for about hurdles, 400 metre run-ish. Your anaerobic system can last up to 3 minutes and over. This is more for your marathon runners, beyond 800 metre runners, more like Mo Farah. Our anaerobic energy system only uses carbohydrates for energy. This means we need to make sure we are eating the correct source of food on the run up to an event, otherwise we won't get the energy we need, which means we will slack and give ourselves a disadvantage in our event. With prolonged exercise, carbohydrates are the first fuel choice. As exercise continues, fat becomes predominant. As exercise intensity rises, energy supplies by carbohydrate increases. As duration continues, energy supplies by fat increases. Protein is not a main fuel source except in emergency. As glycogen decreases, energy supplies by the protein increases. Each system plays an important role in energy production. All energy systems are on at all times. This gives a variety of movement. The system interacts to supply an energy for the activity you're participating in. As exercise gets harder, the percentage of energy from the oxidation of carbohydrate goes up sharply, while the percentage of energy from fat goes down, as this diagram shows. From the energy from the carbohydrate, as it goes up to about 90%, the energy from fat goes down, increasing intensity of exercise. Energy systems continue. Our energy systems working together during a 100-metre sprint We use all our energy systems. ATP is used the most. We need this to give us the powerful burst of speed and strength we need to create power. We use a lot of phosphorotein, but not as much as ATP. We don't use a lot of aerobic for a 100-metre sprint as it is only an event that lasts for a short period of time, same with glycolysis. As this diagram shows, our ATP store goes, percentage of maximum rates of energy production increases massively in your 2 to 3 seconds, as this gives you the strong, powerful burst that you need. However, your aerobic system doesn't start to increase until the 2 hours time. This is because it is used for events that are 800 metre Mo Farah sort of events. Examples of sports. In basketball, it's a game where you're running around a lot, it's a team game, so everyone's getting involved, everyone's running. This uses about 60% of your ATP and only about 20% of your anaerobic, because it is still a fast sport but still lasts for about 40 minutes. However, swimming for your 1.5 kilometres, you're not going to need your strong, powerful burst as much, only when you're pushing yourself off that wall to get where you need to be. However, this is 70% anaerobic energy, because you're swimming for longer, so you're going to need that energy to keep you going. Volleyball is 80% because you're moving around a lot. Might not seem it, but there's not many of you on that pitch, so you need to be getting into them spaces you need to be able to do that. Cardiovascular and respiratory responses. Your heart rate anticipatory response is something you feel just before an event you're about to take part in. This could be the butterflies, the nerves just kicking in, but it still gets your heart rate racing. Like when you're just thinking about it, just gets your heart rate going, because you know you're going to take part in a sport. It's same as getting up and presenting something. You've got an anticipatory response just before you go and do this. The increase in heart rate is due to your sympathetic nervous system reacting to the way your body is starting to feel. Your activity response is your body's response to exercise. This is an increase in heart rate, stroke volume, cardiac and cardiac output. Because your body is working more, the demand for oxygen is higher, meaning you have to work to meet these demands. By meeting them, your heart rate, stroke volume and cardiac output all increase. Your heart rate increasing is also due to your sympathetic nervous system, such as your anticipatory response. An example of your anticipatory response rising is just before you go to your sprint, and you get put in the little places you get put in, and you're thinking just before that gun goes off is your anticipatory response. Then your activity response is the actual sprint, how you are during that sprint. Blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure increases in direct proportion to your exercise intensity, meaning if you are working at a high intensity, your systolic blood pressure will also be high. As exercise begins, the baroreceptors found in the aortic and carotid arteries detect a decrease in blood pressure, specifically systolic blood pressure. The central nervous system then responds by constricting, vasoconstriction, narrowing of the blood vessel lumen, blood vessels, and increasing the systolic blood pressure, and further increases heart rate. The systolic blood pressure doesn't change significantly. This means little change in mean arterial pressure, which is a product of both systolic pressure and diastolic blood pressure. Vasoconstriction, narrowing the blood vessels. Vasodilation, widening the blood vessels. Our SNS causes, central nervous system causes vasoconstriction and vasodilation of the blood vessels. Also, precapillary symphyses open and close to allow for blood to either travel in or away from a certain area of the body. Our breathing rate increases during exercise. Our acute response is that we breathe in and out. During exercise, more muscles are involved. The sternocleidomastoid, pectorals major are now involved, as well as the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles. This means sternum lifts further and faster than it does at rest. The number of things help stimulate the RCC to work harder. When our muscles use oxygen, we produce carbon dioxide. RCC meaning respiratory control centre. Chemoreceptors located in the veins then send information to your respiratory control centre. They detect the increase in carbon dioxide in the blood and help decrease the amount. This stimulates the RCC to increase the rate and depth of your breathing. Tidal volume. The volume of air expired or inspired in one breath during exercise. Our tidal volume increases up to 4 times. This is because we are working harder, so the demand for oxygen increases, and to get this oxygen we inspire and expire, meaning our tidal volume is going to increase as we will be breathing in and out more. An example of our breathing rate increasing is in football. As more muscles are getting involved, as you're getting more into the game, your breathing rate is going to go in and out, and it's going to get faster, so that the oxygen needed to supply your muscles to be able to work increases. The end.